The world thinks Florida is ground zero of the U.S. culture war. Spoiler alert, the world may be right. An increasing number of bigoted attacks that have hit Orlando can be tied to the culture war launched by our Republican governor, Ron DeSantis. There were the men who disrupted a rally for transgender health care outside of City Hall, shouting abuse at protesters and holding up signs labeling them pedophiles and groomers. There were threats from hate groups that forced the cancellation of a local drag queen story hour. And there was the time someone put white supremacist stickers on the side of an LGBTQ plus community center. Alyssa MacKenzie, a trans rights activist in Florida, says, quote, I don't have a good way to describe how dehumanizing that feels, end quote. She ties those actions to the culture war launched by her state's Republican governor, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. His parental rights and education bill, also known as Don't Say Gay, curbs discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools. Another law, Stop Woke, restricts anti-racist teachings in classrooms, universities, and corporate training. With DeSantis holding a sizable lead in the polls, roughly about 12% these days, his law's opponents are turning to the court system. Some of the provisions of Stop Woke are currently blocked by a judge, but there are many such incidents proving that Florida is a battleground for LGBTQ plus people and the opponents of the queer community. And, you know, I talked about this on the show last night. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad next week. It's just going to be so bad. But the thing is, Republicans and DeSantis have found a winning strategy in the culture war. Why is he up by 12%? Because if you come out against him, then he can call you names. And if you think his policies are good, well, then he's got your vote. He's literally in a win-win, zero-lose situation.
That's not true. And don't go by those polls. They're polling specific segments of the population, and polls can swing. If you read Christie's stuff,
Charlie Crist
stuff, he says he's up in his polls. So don't put too much emphasis on polls. Well, the thing is this: what I find interesting about this whole thing is, as much as DeSantis talks about anti-LGBTQ, and as much as he talks about the Stop Woke Act, his administration has spent almost $1 million teaching critical race theory to everyone that works for him. Because you have to. Because the world is moving forward, and the country's moving forward, and they're literally just using these things to get votes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, guess what? You can't work for state government and not know these things. And you have to abide by certain federal laws no matter what. So he's saying one thing to get votes, but people still have to learn.
Hypocrisy has always been a winning political
strategy.
And also bear in mind that this is a revival of an old, what I call LGBT blood libel. Blood libel has been used, is a term basically used as to label something that's, the non-Jewish population or the anti-Semite population will associate with the Jewish community. But in our version, in the LGBTQ version of the blood libel, it's pedophile. Right. They keep calling us pedophiles. This is not news. We just mentioned Anita Bryant. She has been using the same tactic, and that was back in 1977. Yeah. That tactic is older than I am.
Yeah.
And
to get votes.
To get votes. Right. And every time something goes wrong, the economy is not going so hot, or your other policies are not that popular, drag out the drag queens, the trans population, the LGBT population, and call them the groomers and pedophiles, sick hate crimes against them, and call it a win.
Yeah, to distract everyone, kind of like when they bring out the clowns in the circus to distract when there's having a problem, which makes it even worse, right? Because they literally just use our community for fodder.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want anyone to look at the price of this right now, so make fun of the gay people.
And then ironically here in Florida, we have Matt Gaetz, who had his ex-girlfriend's son from Cuba living with him and is under investigation for human trafficking and using his ex-girlfriend's son to lure in underage girls. So he was literally grooming in a pedophile allegedly.
Well,
and yeah, but
there was a clip. I remember there was a clip the other day, a viral clip from TikTok. This woman was addressing a city council about the LGBTQ books and she's like, well, you know what? No drag queen ever molested me, but you know what happened? Pastors molested me.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.